Well, hello, friends. It is Thursday night, and we've got some more baseball action for you guys today. There was the 2-game afternoon slate. Now we got the 7-game main slate. There's a night slate tonight as well. So do us a favor, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We've got a mega chalky Braves team in all respects. Spencer Strider is crazy popular. The Braves as an offense, they are crazy popular. We're going to break it all down for you guys right here and now. If you have questions for us over the course of the show, you know the deal. If you're a Stokastic sub, hit myself up in Discord so that we could answer those questions on the show. If you're not a Discord sub, how do you get in there? Super simple. Just sign up for any of the packages we have here for Stokastic down below in the YouTube description box, or take advantage of our link join offer. Our newest partner, Wanna Parlay, 100% deposit match bonus up to $250. Get yourself $250 in your pocket to build your bankroll with. Get yourself one free month of Sims, and all you have to do is sign up through that link we have down below in the YouTube description box. There's also been other people who have DM me on Twitter to get hooked up with a link. You can do that too. That's also, if you find that easier, send me a DM on Twitter and I'll shoot you over the link in the promo code. Whatever is easiest for you to get yourself signed up at any of our affiliate partners, get your foot in the door. Link down below, message me. All of that is well and good. Eric, what is happening?
Not much. When you were saying that, I thought you were going to go like, if you don't chew big red gum, fuck you, from Talladega Nights. Those are maybe some of the best outtakes at the very end of that movie when they're just doing all of the commercials. It is good stuff. But glad that you ended up pivoting and letting the people know that there are lots of ways that they can get the Sims free, that they can take advantage of that. So many good offers going so little time.
Yeah, and we'll see what the slate has in store for us, too. We got some, like I said, interesting talking points here. Spencer Strider is where this is going to have to start, because if we look at some of the pitcher ownership today, Eric, he is pulling so much ownership that even though it's a small slate, nobody else is all that popular, because he is 75% projected owned, which means you only have 125% projected ownership on DraftKings to go through all of the remaining pitchers. So Strider's 75% on. Then you got Woo, Logan Allen, Soroka, and Taj Bradley all around 20% ownership. Erod and Walker Buehler each around 10% ownership, and then just nobody else is really pulling ownership from the field. He's in a range of his own, Spencer Strider. Brian Woo is more expensive, but at least from a projection standpoint, we've got Spencer Strider with a 40% chance to be one of the top 2 scoring pitchers on the slate. That is about double any other pitcher that we have to look at today. You're playing him in cash games today. The only real question I think we have here when it comes to Strider, Eric, is what do you do with him when he's 75% owned, because it's a massive mark?
I think you still play him. Again, this is one of those things where you're playing the long game. Like, we're playing MLB DFS throughout the entire season. If this is your only day that you're dropping in and you're deciding, hey, I'm going to fade the guy that's over-owned relative to his chances of being successful. Yeah, Spencer Strider at 75% is a ludicrous number, but over a long-term sample size, doing this every single day, I think it's something you can easily be overweight to. I mean, the strikeout stuff, it's back. I mean, I've been beating the drum for Spencer Strider for quite some time now. I don't think that's going to really shock anybody, but specifically in this spot, going up against an Athletics team, like, it's terrifying to some extent. We could maybe see the ownership end up a little bit lower. And it's also really easy for me to see a world where you just get some hedge stacks in the event that the ball is completely flying. It's 100 degrees. Like, it's 100 degrees out in Sacramento today. This was always the scenarios that we were talking about being like, wait until we get to the middle of summer. Well, we are in the middle of summer. It's July 10th. And you got Spencer Strider, who has a 163 expected ISO to lefties, 177 expected ISO to righties. So it's not elite on either of those directions. There's definitely long ball prowess there, but he strikes up both sides north of 27%. He is going to just find strikeouts against this A's team, no doubt about it. Can he avoid some of the long ball issues? That's definitely the question, but he's for some reason 500 cheaper than Brian Woo in Yankee Stadium without the strikeout stuff. So yeah, Spencer Strider. I'm playing one lineup tonight. I am playing Spencer Strider.
By the way, Fangraphs wrote a really good article on Strider that came out this morning, which did a deep dive into his numbers overall for the year. And it's kind of like their overall conclusion there is that Spencer Strider is very good again, but they don't think he's ever going to be what he was in the past, which I think is a pretty reasonable take. Like, I think he's a number 1 starting pitcher right now, but a couple of years ago, I thought he was just destined to win multiple Cy Youngs. And I don't think he is that anymore. I think he's very, very good. I'm getting to a lot of him today. I'm going to be on the side of Strider, but I am very nervous about it at this ownership. And if the A's go out and have themselves a big game, I'm going to be very regretful that I did not take some shots on the A's in a more substantial way as a leverage stack, because I understand that angle. But at the end of the day, I run everything through the Sims, and just the process that's worked for me this year is I'm going to end up playing what the data tells me to play. And the data is very much on the side of jam Strider tonight.
Right. Not nice. My wife is in Toronto. This has nothing to do with her. Do not bring her into this. She is a lovely person. She makes way more money than me now. So I just want to point out that there's no doubt about it. Leave my wife's name out of this.
Which is only because she started playing DFS, by the way. She started playing DFS, and now she's the breadwinner in the house. That's what it was. Just another notch in the old Stokastic belt.
But yeah, no, there's no doubt. Spencer Strider, if I were playing more than one lineup, I definitely would find myself onto some A's stacks, because I think the case is very obvious. It is a AAA ballpark that is played small. We saw the A's go berserk their last game 2 games ago, was Atlanta yesterday, and now today. I mean, it's such a joke. And Spencer Strider is one of those guys who, obviously you brought up all the good things there too. He gives up fly ball contact. It's not going to be on the ground. And so you can run into a couple of these unlucky events. He hits a guy, loads the bases, gives a couple walks up. He's had a 9.2% walk rate. He's never had like the best. I mean, he's been right in line, like around 8.5% for a walk rate for his entire career. That's basically the major league average over any sample size you look at. But he's been north of that in multiple seasons. His rookie year, 8.5% kind of 2022. He's at 9.2% this season. Sets up a couple and then gives up a long ball. It is not impossible to think about that situation, but Brian Wu is in such a tough spot, and the strikeout stuff pales in comparison. So like Brian Wu, he leads the league in first strike percentage. That's something that I've talked about multiple times with him, where he just gets ahead in counts, but doesn't have like a finish him Mortal Kombat pitch. And he's very, very good, but that doesn't really help you out with this version of the Yankees lineup. And he's given up a lot of power to lefties. The splits are definitely there. He does not strike out lefties nearly as much. So like the push and pull of this slate for me is like 500 less to Strider in a terrible spot, but like, what's the pivot? Like Brian Wu does not feel like the pivot to me.
Yeah, that's really the biggest issue that I had, is even hand building out some A's lineups. And I was doing it also where I was like, all right, if I wanted to play the A's in single entries today, just because Strider be 80 to 85% owned in those contests, which I do think is crazy high. And just if there were no other options, just that ownership be like, yeah, I kind of want to try to find leverage there. The problem is you're stacking against him. Then it's like, well, I don't like Brian Wu either. I'm okay with some of these pitchers in the 8K range, but I don't love any of them. And I look at how my lineups break out with the way that I built them through the Sims. And I mean, you guys go see, just using the Stokastic data here on screen as well, a lot of exposure going to Spencer Strider. Logan Allen is a secondary pitcher, and then like nothing else stands out. And that's kind of the way I look at it too, where I don't feel great about Logan Allen individually either. Like he's fine. He's got a great matchup, but he's not great or anything like that. So Strider just presents so much more upside on the slate than any other pitcher. And if you're stacking against him, well, I don't want to play Wu. I'm okay with Logan Allen, but then it's who's the other pitcher that I really feel good about it? Taj Bradley, Erod, Michael Soroka. I feel more comfortable just playing the Strider spot and then hoping that he has, even if he gives up some runs, at least if he strikes out enough hitters. His strikeout prop is 7.5, like you would reference. So hopefully at least the strikeouts are able to offset any kind of damage that ends up being given up against him. But yeah, I don't like paying up for Brian Wu today, Eric.
I don't either. And that's kind of what's difficult here. Walking bets would tell you otherwise today. Over 6.5, over 17.5 outs. Just fire it all up. She's back. She's back, Greg.
I wonder how many people even know what you're talking about. Probably a decent amount.
More than you would think, Greg.
I wonder how many people know what you're talking about and have bookmarked stuff on Twitter.
I think the Venn diagram is auspiciously high in the middle.
Well, we'll see what kind of comments we end up getting from the YouTube chat there. I see James Elwood says a good amount. So yeah, that wouldn't be surprising at all. I mean, especially if you're just in this space and you look at the For You feed on Twitter at all, it's just the algorithm assumes this is for you. If you're into betting, this is what everybody else in betting seems to gravitate towards. But pitchers in the price point below Woo and Strider. So now we can just group in all of these guys, and let's go from Logan Allen up, because I think Logan Allen should kind of be a part of this group as well. All of these pitchers are around the same ownership. They're all 12 to 19% owned. Logan Allen, Erod, Taj Bradley, Michael Soroka. Do you have a favorite amongst this group of pitchers?
Yeah, why is Michael Soroka at 4.5 with plus money towards the over right now? His strikeout stuff has been legitimately good, and I understand Nolan Arenado's back, which kind of throws this into flux, but he's down in the 6 hole today because he's up against a righty, and you get Contreras, you get Lars Nootbaar, Nolan Gorman, Victor Scott. Those are 4 guys who strike out quite a bit. Brendan Donovan, Mason Wynn, Alec Burleson, not the easiest starting 3 that you have to deal with by any means. But when you project this out, when you're taking a look at it, I love Michael Soroka and his upside here because he does so many good things with that changeup specifically against lefties. I think that's just a really, really good pitch. And obviously you get a lot of these lefties. You got to try to get 1 or 2 of those there at 4.5 from a betting perspective. But from a DFS perspective too, you get a better ballpark. Logan Allen, I think, is going to pull all of the ownership and all the land. And that's really what this comes down to, is running things through the Sims and playing multiple lineups. I totally get why Logan Allen is the target, but my SP2 today is Michael Soroka. I think there are a lot of ways where his strikeout matchup is more comparable to the White Sox matchup than you think. Lewis Robert being back sucks, but he's batting 6th today. Austin Slater's up there to the 2 holes, so that's a pretty good matchup to be getting as well. But Michael Taylor at the bottom half of it in the 9 hole. These are guys that strike out a ton, but I think the ownership gets absolutely out of control on Logan Allen when it's all said and done. And that in single entry, specifically for my purposes, has me landing there. Taj Bradley's in just a terrible spot. There's not a lot to say about that. I think the strikeouts are more prone there, but his earned run prop is way up there as a result because of how good this lineup is. I think Michael Soroka is a really, really good tournament option, and there's no way I see him getting steamed up.
I'm really confused by Taj Bradley's strikeout rate this year because he's been a really good strikeout pitcher his entire career, and then he's just stopped getting strikeouts this year. 2023, 28% strikeout rate, 2024, 27% strikeout rate. Now it's at 20% this year. I don't know what the hell happened, but he's just not generating swing and misses in the same way. I know the ballpark has been super suboptimal, but that shouldn't mean his K rate just tanks pitching at George Steinbrenner Field instead of Tropicana Field. I don't feel great about any of these options. I'm leaning most towards Taj Bradley because I think he is the most talented pitcher of all of them. I also have some consideration for Logan Allen because I think he has the easiest matchup by a lot of any of these pitchers. He's pitching against the White Sox, whereas you're getting Taj Bradley against the Red Sox. Michael Soroka pitching against the Cardinals. That's a tough strikeout matchup. Erod's pitching against the Padres. So I really want to be a little bit spread out amongst these guys. The 3 I have the most consideration for, which, I mean, it's all of them except for Erod, but Logan Allen, Taj Bradley, and Michael Soroka for me. I kind of want to be spread out, though. I don't have any real strong stands between them. But if I had to pick one, I'm just going to go with Taj Bradley because I think he's the best pitcher. I don't feel great about it, though.
Also will say there's some weather concerns that exist. I don't have a single piece in my one lineup of Cleveland, Chicago, so I'm not thinking about it very much. But there is some rain. It's middle of this game specifically, looking around the 9 p.m. Eastern time window. Looks like it might get a little bit sketchy around the edges there. It's kind of I'd say 25% that it could end up affecting it, but that's just another reason for me looking at Logan Allen. I think he's rightfully the guy pulling the most ownership, but I kind of like your approach, being more spread out. Not a big fan of Erod here in this spot. Lefties against San Diego, just not looking all that good. You lose the Tristan, whatever his face is, just an absolute dunce cap. Tristan Brooks. You lose that left on left. It becomes like an Iglesias. becomes a lot of things like that are improved for the hitters there in San Diego, as opposed to the strikeout matchup specifically. You get, Jose Iglesias in there in the 7-hole today. Not the best for Erod, and obviously coming off of evisceration, hasn't been very pretty as is. Definitely like the idea of Taj, Logan Allen, Michael Soroka being spread out there if you're playing multiple lineups.
Yeah, and Einsteinium, you kind of already answered this one. But he said, thoughts on Soroka? The K stuff has been there this year. Certainly in play. I think he's one of the very viable options in the 8K range. I prefer him to Brian Wu. I prefer him to Erod, but I really do view him, Taj Bradley, and Logan Allen as about equals. To me, Strider's clearly the best pitching option on the slate. And then it's like 2A, 2B, 2C is Logan Allen, Taj Bradley, Michael Soroka. So, yeah, I think he's a strong option for today. Eric had already expanded on it a little bit. And then if we go into the cheaper pitchers, is there anybody looking to take a punt on who's priced below Logan Allen? Because you don't really have anybody with ownership outside of that.
No, not really. I mean, what would even like be the next guy up that you would really want to fire up underneath that? Like, there's not really a need today. Like, I can't imagine playing Randy Vasquez. I'd probably rather cause physical harm to myself than play Randy Vasquez. The closest I think is Jack Kakanowicz. Now I'm on the Angels again. I'm going to get some CLV on that. I bet them yesterday. I bet them today. Had the over the game yesterday. That was the easy part. Nolan Shanuel made a sweat for it. He's not even in the lineup today, but I got to think that Kakanowicz is one of those guys who's going to spike random strikeout games. And the one thing I want to point out for him is the pitch mix. He's starting to induce a lot more ground balls. Now, it hasn't resulted in any strikeouts recently. He's been pitching to contact more, which has been something like there's been some conversations and stuff on Angels post game, which I watch a lot out here because, it's one of the things that isn't blacked out. Dodger games get blacked out all the time now. But I do think that he's one of those dudes that will eventually run into like against the Yankees. He had an 8 strikeout outing out of the middle of nowhere. Do I think he's good? No, I do not. But what bats do I get in? I'd be more in line with just playing 0% of these guys in like even 150. But if you made me pick one, Jack Kakanowicz would probably be it. And didn't even call him the cock today. So I'm showing him a little respect. Probably more than he deserves.
It's tough. It's tough to find anybody else who I don't like anybody else. I really don't. If I was forced to choose somebody,
I'm not playing Stroman. I'm not playing Cannon.
I think the answer is really just nobody. Because you start to look at like, all right, where can I get leverage? Who's the pitcher that I could roster and get leverage against the opposing offense? And it's all right. There's 9% ownership going to the Mariners. What's the upside in Stroman? There's 8% ownership going to the Guardians. What's the upside in Jonathan Cannon? There's 10% ownership going to the Cock, who you had just touched on, but like I really don't like the matchup against Texas.
Love touching on the Cock.
The Angels are the second most popular offense. We have them as the most overowned team in the top stacks tool. So maybe you just for leverage, you say Patrick Corbin, but I feel like I'm less of a man if I play Patrick Corbin. How could I press that button? Patrick Corbin's terrible. I know he's been moderately less terrible this year than previous years, but it's still not good numbers. The strikeout rate is terrible, and he projects to be awful the rest of the season. So I don't buy anything he's done in the first 18 starts of this season when we've got, well, also, like I said, the numbers aren't great. They're just not terrible, but he's been absolutely miserable for the last 6 years. So I don't really feel all that inclined to pay Patrick Corbin either. Like even favoriting my top 150 lineups, I didn't get more than 5% of any of these guys sub $7,700. So I feel like the prudent thing to do is just tell you guys, if you're playing, 1, 2, 3 lineups, just don't even consider playing anybody below 7,700.
It's pronounced cock.
I like how you try to do it the professional way, which we're not doing that around here. What do we do? We're a mom and pop shop. We're here to tell some dick and ball jokes from time to time. He's the cock.
Do you want the cock or do you not?
But I do like that we've been calling him cock and Cockinowitz for the entire year. And today you try to do it earnestly. And the entire year, nobody corrects us calling him the cock, but you try to do it the correct way, and people go like, no. Here's how you phonetically do it.
You have a Stokastic badge. I think you've probably watched our show before. I think you probably understand that we're having fun. Cock.
Cock it is. Anything else you want to add about the pitchers on the DraftKings side of things? If not, we'll look at FanDuel pitching.
So the one guy, I think if I were playing more lineups, if I were playing like 20 max today, I would probably entertain Patrick Corbin just as like a salary saver at 7,500. He's the one guy that, I mean, it's awful going up against the Angels, but they have the highest strikeout rate in baseball against left-handed pitching at 28%. And you literally get the most terrifying, but also like the nut matchup, 4 strikeouts, just top to bottom. Yohan Moncada's back. Yohan Moncada strikes out second most on this entire team. Mike Trout, Zach Neto, Logan O'Hoppe, Joe Adell, Taylor Ward, Jorge Soler. I just named a lot of guys, and all of them strike out a lot. Like Travis d'Arnaud being in this lineup would be the only improvement you could possibly have. In somehow, some way, just like having him or O'Hoppe DHing, but that's not the case with Trout. He's just been put on ice to not play the field anymore. So that's cool. But I do think Patrick Corbin, as much as we've made fun of him, Texas has made a man out of him, Mulan style. So 18.3% K rate, I don't think is indicative of what you're running into here. That said, I bet the Angels. I thought it was a pretty asinine line at open. Tended to be right, but it's not because of the cock. It's because Patrick Corbin is one of those guys that I think has negative regression written all over him.
Yeah. So I view it the exact same way. I've been saying that about Corbin for, I don't know, last month or something like that at this point. So yeah, I'm much more inclined to stack against Patrick Corbin and play the chalk than actually roster him and try to get some leverage. So let's look at FanDuel pitcher, where somebody in chat just asked us, what is the ownership on Spencer Strider? Well, I'll tell you, kind sir, it is 44.6% in our projections. There is not a single other pitcher on FanDuel pulling more than 8% ownership. So you got Spencer Strider and then everybody else on FanDuel. It's the easiest cash game click you're going to make in your entire life. Just play Spencer Strider over on FanDuel. But relative to this massive, nearly half the field on a single pitcher site is playing Strider and GPPs. You want to ride with the chalk on FanDuel, or do you want to get a little dicey and try to roll somebody else out?
Probably. I think one guy for sure is Michael Soroka for me, just because I think if you're talking about ceiling, he's at 4.5 strikeouts. Again, I bet that. I want to ladder him up because I do think that there's like actual value to each rung of the ladder if his changeup is on. Like if his changeup is on, he has 8-9 strikeout upside in this spot, and it's not being accounted for. It is a lethal pitch to lefties, and that's. I mean, I bet him against Washington. I've been betting him a lot this season, or against who is it in Washington? He pitches for Washington, but I've bet his strikeout stuff a lot recently. Michael Soroka, and I'm going to this pairing it with something sounds awful today because everything I'm looking at in The Sims is just with Strider. I really wouldn't avoid one of Wu or Strider in a lineup. I really, really wouldn't. If I had to, gun to my head, I think it would be Logan Allen along with Michael Soroka, but I don't love it.
So for me over on FanDuel, I'm just going to say
that on FanDuel, it's at a 5-man stack.
No. The question I'd ask, though, is what you want to do on FanDuel with Strider relative to his ownership.
I thought it was Sean Geezy's super chat because Sean Geezy's awesome people. So
but I mean, one thing at a time.
One thing at its own time. I wouldn't do anything on FanDuel that isn't Strider, Soroka, Wu. Logan Allen maybe a little bit, just he's the cheapest of the 4. I can't imagine I would play any Taj Bradley on FanDuel today.
Yeah, I'm most inclined to say ride with the chalk in Strider. Let's say if you're playing 10 lineups, maybe go like 9 Strider and make 1 A stack against him. And then have in that one lineup like Logan Allen at pitcher, just because I think he's fairly safe against the White Sox for FanDuel purposes. And then also because he's not popular over on FanDuel. On DraftKings, where we'll have a conversation when we get to stacks about what Logan Allen's ownership might be. My gut feeling is that Logan Allen's going to come in much higher owned than what his ownership projection is. So that kind of makes me want to think, like, could we stack against a guy who's really not all that good, who might be 30% owned? But anyway, for FanDuel purposes, where I actually do think he's going to be low owned because Strider's just going to be crazy popular, I'm more inclined to play Logan Allen over on FanDuel. But anyway, yes, as Eric had referenced, we did get a super chat from Sean Jeezy. So we'll pull this up as well and just leave it on screen here for a second, where he says, if you had to build a lineup without Woo and Strider, and it must be a 5-man stack below 8% owned. If I'm not playing Strider, I'm stacking against him. I don't think there's any point in fading Strider and not stacking the A's. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I 100% agree with that.
So if I'm fading Strider, I'm stacking the A's. Because the way that Strider goes, if he has a bad start, he doesn't, it's not like he's given up bloop singles or anything like that. Bad Strider starts is like he gives up 2-3 homers. That's usually how the really bad starts go. And for a slate like this, even if it's like just a mediocre start where he scores like 18, 19 fantasy, it's probably enough on this particular slate. So if I'm not playing Strider, I want to stack against him with the A's. And then as far as the 5-man stack goes, 5-man stack with the A's, as far as the pitching combination goes, it would probably be for me Logan Allen and it would be some combination of Soroka, Bradley, and Logan Allen. My inclination would probably be Logan Allen, Taj Bradley, but Bradley and Soroka is also fine. Eric had referenced it before, though. If you're going to fade Strider, you don't also have to fade Woo. You don't have to.
Correct. You don't have to fade both. And here's the other thing is you remove those two. And, you know, I just did it now because it just kind of got me thinking from a single entry perspective what's going to happen. But Soroka and Allen, so obviously that takes the White Sox off the table for a stack, and that's obviously a stack I'm very interested in, considering I'm not going to be playing Logan Allen. But I thought Seattle looked amazing, and you can still get to Seattle. Like, I can still get to the Seattle pieces that I want against Stroman with that combination, or, you know, even just adding Strider up top there. But if you're going to play, you know, sub 8% along with those, I think the most likely stack that I would pair with it is the Athletics. Like, just if I'm getting away from Strider, I mean, even like Wins is up to 4K over there. I mean, that's just kind of absurd. This is absolutely absurd. I know he hits the ball high, but it's about the nicest thing I can say about him. And Duhar back in there in the 4-hole. I mean, this is just such a punt back half of the lineup, and Duhar batting cleanup. What a world. I think it would probably be them, though, if I'm just going to that Soroka Allen type lineup.
Yeah. So for lineups that are stacking these, I think that Woo is going to end up in a lot of those lineups anyway. Yes. But to answer Sean's question directly, lineups without Strider, my preference is to stack the A's in those lineups. Let's see what we have from Discord. If anything, if you guys haven't done it yet, like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have a question here from Einstein, said Corbin versus the Angels. I just don't want to play Patrick Corbin. I get it because the Angels are chalky and the Angels probably don't really ever warrant being the second most popular team on the slate. But still, I ran everything through the Sims and I got some more of the Angels than I did to Patrick Corbin. So Patrick Corbin, I'm really having a hard time to find interest in. DNA said, what is the best low salary pitcher for FanDuel? Can't make up his mind. So what are you considering low salary? Because if it's just not one of the expensive guys, Logan Allen, $8,600. If it has to be sub 8K, nobody. Like the sub 8K is really shitty on FanDuel, especially when you consider that the way that single pitcher sites work on the FanDuel scoring, like you probably need them to go 6 innings. You need the quality start. Even if you're going cheap, you probably still need them to outscore Spencer Strider. There's nobody I really want to play sub 8K on FanDuel, Eric.
The only one I'd entertain is Patrick Corbin, which should tell you don't play anybody sub 8K over on FanDuel. That's the news that I got for you there, Greg. I mean, no idea what you could even possibly want to play on FanDuel that's sub 8K. Disgusting stuff.
Not for me.
Who are you texting right now? Who is this lady? Who is this? I mean, you're obviously...
it is somebody on Twitter who has photoshopped his face in a Sonics jersey who is telling me about a Miles Michaelis line, and I'm trying to figure out where he bet it because I want to bet it too. I bet Miles Michaelis under 16.5 outs. I think it's playable up to -150. And he said that he got it at plus money somewhere. I don't believe him, but if he did get it at plus money, I want to bet that because I think that under 16.5 outs for Miles Michaelis, the fair line is like -150.
I am going to tail you on that. And I'm not even going to give you credit. I'm literally just going to bet it. Under 16.5 is -125 at BetMGM. -105 at 15.5 is DraftKings. So you want the 16.5? You want that extra out?
Yes.
You do? Okay. I'm going to post it on NoVig, and if it gets picked up, I will post it to the old Discord and try to get more people there. Oh, that's what's happening. So somebody posted 17.5 on NoVig, and it's taking over, and that's not very nice of them.
Yeah, I like the 16.5 -125 line. That is what I bet on BetMGM, but
take you out to a steak dinner and never call you again.
Well, that's very hurtful. That's very hurtful.
Anchorman. It's okay. It's just a movie quote. I would never do that to you, baby.
I don't believe you now. Anything else you want to add about the pitching options for today?
We have covered these just diabolical grouping of pitchers more than they deserve. Let's talk stacks.
Yeah, well, listen, it's a 7-game slate. We don't have many options. We're at the mercy of what's on the slate. If you guys do want to check out Portfolio EV and get yourself some bets, I just gave out a bet right there. I like Miles Michaelis under 16.5 outs. But if you want even more bets, your first 7 days are totally free from OddsShopper Portfolio EV, risk-free to you. So go check it out. The WNBA bets have really been crushing this year. I know a lot of people don't think about betting WNBA all that often, but I've gotten pretty into it this year, Eric, especially originating some of my own bets, trying to beat some line movement using the OddsShopper Portfolio EV tools. So I know that the MLB is going to be on All-Star break next week, but there's still going to be WNBA games to check out as well. Let's talk some stacks. And let's see. First thing I want to check is, without making any kind of adjustments to the Sims, the 4 teams that show up with double-digit exposure are the Cardinals, the Braves, the Guardians, and the Rays here. I want to know from you, though, Eric, what do you make of the stack options today? And if you were playing just one lineup, which team would you be stacking?
Well, I am just playing one lineup, so that makes it extremely easy. I am stacking up the Chicago White Sox. It is purely leverage. The more I run this slate, the more I look online, the more I do work on it, which I'm done doing now because I'm making one lineup. I just want to really stack up against Logan Allen, who I don't think is all that good and getting all of the attention in this range. And I understand it to some degree, but like you get Luis Robert. I mean, can we get Luis Robert in I want to get moved at the deadline mode? Like that would be lovely to see Luis Robert get, sent off somewhere. A lot of teams that could utilize him, especially if you can get back to form. You get a lot of cheap pieces that makes it easy to play with Spencer Strider. And, I'm going Soroka. I'm not even playing Brian Wu in that one lineup, but I really like the leverage that I'm getting here going to the White Sox. And I do think it has a little bit to do with the weather here too. We've got a chance of maybe Logan Allen having to sit out for a second. I don't think this game is in risk of getting rained out by any means, but you go through the Cleveland pen, and this is just like a middle reliever section that's not very good. Like Paul Sewald's good, but he's now pitched 2 of the last 3. He came in and got the save yesterday because it sounds like they're looking at moving Clase or Gaddis or somebody at the deadline, that there's a couple of teams that have a lot of interest there. It's been a down year by Clase standards for sure, but their bullpen has been where the entire week. And so you just have to, in some capacity, find some of those weaker bullpen arms if something goes wrong here for Logan Allen, or if he ends up coming out of the game, and that makes Eric happy.
I do think it's funny that somebody in chat said they think that's a lie. Eric was speculating that I was texting a girl, and I'm like, no, I'm texting a man on Twitter who has his face photoshopped in a Sonics jersey, and people are like, that sounds made up. Right? Which one makes me sound more cool? Because I will throw this on screen right now. And you could see right here, I posted the bet of Miles Michaelis, said now at plus 16.5. And a few minutes ago, I responded, where are those odds? Because I want to bet it. If I'm going to make something up, it would be something that makes me sound much cooler than I'm texting somebody who's photoshopped himself in a Sonics jersey. But anyway, most importantly, I'm on the lookout. If he actually responds with a book where he gets under 16.5 outs, I want to bring it to you guys because I think that's a really good bet if it's actually plus money somewhere. But for me, for stacks, Eric, how popular do you think Logan Allen is going to be in single entry? Because I have a feeling he's going to be 30+% owned. And if that's the case, I really want to be stacking against him. I'm just not sure he's actually going to get to be that popular.
You don't think who's going to get that popular?
No, how popular do you think Logan Allen is going to be in single entry?
Pretty popular.
That's my gut feeling. I know we don't have him projected to be all that popular, but my gut feeling is he is going to be quite popular. So I've made some adjustments to my own Sims run to make Logan Allen more popular, to kind of adjust some of my exposures. And that is making the White Sox look pretty good on the data that I ran for myself and my sim here. So I am right now playing the Chicago White Sox in single entry as my stack, Eric.
You heard that that's what I'm playing too, right? Like I said that before the show and I said that just now.
That's what I did when I was
under 16.5 plus 100 is a lie. He's a liar. He's an actress. Get the fuck out. Do you watch Love Island? No.
No. My sister tried to make me watch it because my sister was staying at my house for about a week because it was my brother's 30th birthday over the weekend. So my sister came and visited from Chicago. And apparently, if you watched Love Island, I didn't realize this stupid show is on every single night. So my sister's like obsessed. It's like the show comes on and she has to watch it, or else she's not like in line with her friend group and she doesn't understand the references in the group chat. So she has to watch it, and it's just total nonsense. So anyway, no, I not only do I not watch it, I actively dislike it.
Oh, okay. Well, I actively like it, and I don't like reality TV ever, but my wife got me into it during the pandemic. It's the one, other than Bachelor in Paradise, which I can kind of stomach as well, because, it's kind of enjoyable. Once in a while, there's ridiculousness that happens for, like, national TV on that. I kind of enjoy it, but Love Island is fantastic, and we were on that crazy, we did 3 weddings in 4 weeks. What was that, like end of May, beginning of May, end of May? Just ridiculous streak of weddings that I had to go to for no reason whatsoever. But Davide, the guy who does that quote on Love Island, it's one of the most famous like episodes of it, the UK version. He's this Italian guy. He was at the wedding. Melanie got to talk with him. It was fantastic.
Yeah, no chance. If
get the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why we're bombing Iran when we could just bomb Love Island and we could just be done with an entire genre of TV. It would be so much. It would do so much better for the world. Get rid of Love Island.
Blaming Mrs. Lindquist.
I'm sinking into the ocean. Get rid of that dumb island. I want my sister.
It's not an island, Greg. It's like South Africa, or they go everywhere. One time they did it in Vegas. That was kind of interesting, like right off the strip.
My sister's like addicted to this dumb show because it's on every night.
Really
like she's obligated to watch. She even said she does. My sister said she doesn't even like it. She just has to watch it to keep up with her friend group.
Yeah, I made $25 on Profit X the other day betting it. So there you go.
How the hell do you bet Love Island?
Oh, because they have a Love Island section on Profit X, and my wife loves looking through it because she's just like, this isn't going to happen. So like, we'll just bet like $20-$30 on stuff together.
Yeah, not for, I mean, I guess if I absolutely had to watch it, I probably would bet on it too. But anyway, we've got other stacks to talk about today. I'm playing the White Sox in single entry. What do you want to do with the Braves in large field GPPs? Because they are pulling a ton of ownership, 17%. That's about double what any other team is getting. The only teams that have slightly more than half of the ownership of the Braves are the Angels and the Rangers. What do you make of the Braves relative to their ownership? Because they're going against JP Sears. They're once again in that really tiny ballpark in Sacramento. We've seen, I think, every game that's been played in that one side of this series, each game, somebody's been in the optimal lineup. Are you going to be rolling with the Braves chalk tonight, though?
No, I don't have a single Brave in my one lineup. If I were making more lineups, I'd obviously have some Braves. They're undeniably in an unbelievable spot. And Acuna, 6,400, doubled on yesterday. He's just been ridiculous. I mean, he's a ridiculous baseball player when healthy. It's nice to see him backing up to his old tricks. Austin Riley breaks my home run model, like actually breaks it, where I think his break even is inside of plus 200 today. I can tell you one thing. I've never had Austin Riley ranked inside of plus 200, maybe ever that I can remember, where that's like a break even number for it. Him against JP Sears should be just free medicine. Like if you play a cash lineup without Austin Riley, 4,400 at third base, you actively should do something else. Like, do not play cash anymore. It's an absolute free square. Play Austin Riley in cash. Don't think twice about it. The rest of the lineup, though, again, this is just one of those spots where, like, yeah, they're insanely popular for a good reason, but it's also MLB DFS, and you got to try to find some kind of way of being able to say, like, all right, yeah, they're the most likely stack to go ballistic. They're the number one stack in the top stacks tool. But like in single entry, they're going to be so unbelievably owned, especially like Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna, Sean Murphy. And those guys specifically, I would actively find a lot of ways to get away from, or in my case, playing 0 of them just in one lineup. But yeah, I can't imagine playing more than one lineup today and not having some type of Braves exposure.
By the way, we were shitting on fireworks the other day, and people were calling us anti-American for it. But yes, Najee Harris may have ruined his NFL career by having a firework blow up in his face. That was news that
second
came out.
NFL Jason Pierre-Paul. Like, what are we doing here? Blowing off your hand, wearing a mitt? Stop with the fireworks. Just put them away. My kids will never play with fireworks. Ever. I'm that dad. No chance.
It depends. If I have kids, if I like them or not. If I don't like them, they can play with as many fireworks as they want, and I'll cross my fingers and hope to get out of the situation. It depends. It depends how annoying they are. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds.
Oh my God. So good.
We shall see. By the way, we got a super chat from also for the Braves. I think they're definitely a reasonable team to be stacking, but relative to the ownership, I'm a little bit underweight to the field to them. The Sims not making any adjustments about even with the field. It's definitely a team worth considering, but overall, I think a little bit too popular. We got a super chat from Amy. Amy wants to know who we are liking for tiers today. So we'll rattle off some of our favorite tiers picks, and we'll talk about some of the other offenses that we are prioritizing, which just really quickly for me, it's the Angels and the Rangers as 2 other teams that I'm liking for today. Tiers, though. Tiers, Eric. Let's pull this up. Tier 1 for me. Tiers. Aaron Judge in tier 1 for me.
Aaron Judge looks pretty good.
Tier 2, I am going to go with Jose Ramirez.
Oh, of course, I opened Fridays. Tiers. What a jerk off.
I'm sure that Aaron Judge is in tier 1 on Friday, too.
That's what I'm saying. Aaron Judge looks pretty good. Here we go. And we're back. Tier 2. I've got this. That is going to be Jazz.
Okay. Yeah, it was Jose Ramirez for me. Tier 3. In tier 3, I'm going to go with Fernando Tatis.
One of my favorite bets of the day, Junior Caminero.
Tier 4, that is going to be Manny Machado for me.
That is going to be Zach Neto for me.
Tier 5, that is going to be Mike Trout for me.
I will say this. It is really appealing to stack against Strider in tiers today, because then you wouldn't end up playing him. You'd end up playing Woo in tier 6. And I think having like multiple lineups, if I'm playing on tiers, I would stack up like the Kurtz, Rooker. Like there's some really fun ways of putting that together. Butler in tier 5, but just wanted to point that out here before we get to the picture where it's obviously Strider for us. I have Mike Trout.
And then tier 6, roll out Strider pitcher.
Yeah, Strider.
All right, let's double check, see if there's any questions in Discord. And no, looks like we are all good there. Oh, also, let me check my Twitter notifications. Did I get a reply? No, he liked my question but didn't reply to it. That's not helpful. I want to know where that's from. Well, anyway, Eric, let's go ahead and look at other stacks on the slate. I mentioned, other than the spots we've already talked about, I think the Angels as well as the Rangers both look really good. I know they're popular. I think the ownership is completely warranted. By the way, also stacks more or less the same for me on FanDuel as well as DraftKings. We're looking at the same stuff on the 2 sites. Are there any other teams you're prioritizing? I know you and I both like the White Sox for smaller field stuff. The Braves, a reasonable team, but a little bit too popular. We like the Angels, or at least I like the Angels and the Rangers. Anything else that you would add as stacks that are really important to you tonight?
Yeah, I would like playing multiple lineups today, especially because I think getting to anything against Miles Michaelis makes a lot of sense. I would want to get to some Washington, and we have them a little bit negatively leveraged, but you know who you want to roster on Washington, maybe making that a secondary stack. But like Paul DeJong in there, he's been launching the baseball upwards in the air, and that's really what you're looking at here against Miles Michaelis. He's already a fully operational Death Star, ready to get blown up. So like Paul DeJong, kind of an interesting contrarian piece there. Dalen Lyle, very, very fast. Him and Jacob Young, guys that can definitely steal a couple bags. That's how they're going to achieve their upside. And Dylan Lyle, sneaky exit velocity, sitting around 90 and a half. I was going to say negative. What would be negative about it? Dalen Lyle, 42.9% hard hit, 469 expected slugging. You throw that in with like Abrams, Wood, Garcia, one of Bell or Low. These are just guys that are very sneaky there. And yeah, a little bit of negative leverage going in there, but not really a catcher that I'm interested in. Drew Milas, he's maybe the weakest bat in baseball at the moment. He can't even what is his bat tracking? Because it was ridiculous last time that I looked. Yeah, 56.5 mile per hour average bat speed, the lowest in baseball. Don't play
pretty
him.
Low. I haven't looked at the bat speed numbers in a minute. Does Stanton still have a 98% hard swing percentage?
I'll pull up the bat leaderboard. I mean, his
he only swings hard.
He doesn't have another. He doesn't have another gear. It's basically just like him and O'Neal Cruz, just like number one by a mile usually. Oh, look at this. O'Neal Cruz is number one, Junior Caminero 2, Joe Adell 3, Aaron Judge 4, Kyle Schwarber 5, Vlad Guerrero 6. You got to get a ways down here until you get to, my guess is that it's that Stanton doesn't qualify. Yep, that's what it is. Stanton doesn't qualify. He's had
all right, I'll
too few of at bats.
I'll pull up his bat tracking. All right. So last year, by the way, okay, this is funny. I haven't pulled up in front
number
right
one. Mm-hmm. 78.6 is O'Neal Cruz. Number one.
What would you guess is Stanton's fast swing rate this season?
90%.
100%. He's only swung hard. It is 100%.
For context, for people that don't know, 75% is like leading baseball right now. Junior Caminero, 77.1%. That's absurd.
So last year when Stanton actually qualified, it was 98.6%. So I knew that it was when he wasn't on the list of the leaders there. I just knew it was because he didn't qualify because he's, only played in a handful of games, because or else he's just a guarantee to be towards the top. That he only swings hard. And I think it's just he's so strong. I don't think he's capable of not swinging hard.
I'm looking at his singles numbers because I don't know if I've ever looked at the actual number that pops out for me there. But yeah, he's not in the lineup today, right?
Stanton.
Yeah.
So the Yankees lineup for today is...
Yeah, he's not in it today. That was why I brought it up, because I was trying to pull it up quick based on the lineups, because there's a tab I can click on from my spreadsheet to jump to MLB.
Yankees lineup: Dominguez, Grisham, Judge, Bellinger, Chisholm, Ben Rice, Austin Wells, Volpe, and Vivas. But anyway, we've only got a couple minutes left to go here. So let's do some dong picks for today. Chat, you know the deal. Throw your home run picks into chat. We'll read some of them off after Eric and I give out our home run picks. But first, Eric, who are you picking to go yard tonight?
Yeah, I won't do the Junior Caminero one because I'm not playing him in DFS. And I am playing one guy on the Yankees, and I could bring him up. Jazz Chisholm has just been on another planet. And Brian Wu, this is the one thing that freaks me out about Brian Wu. So it's just a Yankee one-off that I have in my single entry lineup. Didn't even end up betting Jazz Chisholm because his numbers are so short. But Brian Wu has only a 21% K rate against lefties this season. He has a 20.3 degree launch angle and a 189 expected ISO. There's a reason that these are such short numbers on the Yankee side. Brian Wu is really good at pitching, but this is a horrendous spot. So if you wanted to talk about the disparity between Strider and him today, there's a reason that our projections and our Sims tool just are very much on the side of Strider. Jazz Chisholm going yard.
I'm going to go with Luis Robert as my home run pick for today. Let's see what we got from YouTube chat. YouTube chat has got for us here. G Joiner's going with Evan Carter. Duckman has got Sean Murphy. Tom Olson has, Matt Olson. Flim Flam Man is going with Rayleigh. We've got Josh Dibdall going with Jonathan Aranda. Sotex has got CJ Abrams. Barnaby O'Toole has Dominic Canzone. Reg Kell has Josh Smith. A Tigers Grin has Neto. Snags So Cold has Josh Bell. Saucy Ed is the big dumper. We really should make that. That was a nickname for a minute for Cal Rayleigh, but it's kind of gone away. Now that he's really prominent, he should be known as the big dumper nationally. Joski 24 has got Adolis Garcia. News God has got Ronald Acuna. Matty Ice has got Canzone. Malukar's going with Corey Seager. Harlock has got Adolis Garcia. Clintwood 83 has got Luke Rayleigh. Dan is going with Trevor Story. Gary Gregg has got Julio Rodriguez. Patrick Lawrence is Fernando Tatis. B-Funk has got Edgar Cuero. That'd be great for my single entry team. Tripp has got Aranda. We've got Eric 20 going with Joe Adell. Pierre has got James Wood. Eric Traub has got Butler. We've got Jaron Duran from SVT Mike. Rosa Reyna from Aaron Hines. Craig Turpinseed is going with Corey Seager. Chad Wiseman's got Josh Naylor. We've got Alec Burleson from Rooster Slinky. Casey Leatherwood's got Bellin O'Hoppy. We've got Folk Matt going with Austin Riley. We've got Caminero for 2 homers from Big Kev. Still a little bit of your thunder there, Eric. Going with 2 homers for Caminero. Anthony Falia's got Brandon Donovan. We've got Extra QT also going with Big Dumper. Will Cream has got Jose Ramirez. Zach Justice has got Jorge Polanco. And then we've got Extra QT going with Jerkson Profar, and Yobo Good Greens has got Noah Jones. So guys, thank you very much for watching. One more time, if you want to sign up for any of the packages we have here at Stokastic, you do it right through the link down below in the YouTube description box, or our link join program. Sign up for any of these affiliate partners. You can get access to deposit bonus offers and 1 free month of Sims Core access to a single sport of your choosing for each one you sign up for. Good luck with your lineups today, guys. If you're looking for information on the late slate, I am about to have a video posted on my Twitter page with a breakdown of tonight's 3-gamer. So go check that out if you're going to be playing the late slate. Other than that, good luck. See you guys tomorrow.